Hi, I'm Joan, and Gary and I love sourdough bread. Anyway, today is the experiment, doing it in the Sprinter van. So I'm ready to take my dough and go to the next step, which is forming it and getting it ready to bake. I want to talk to you about the things that I have here with me right now. Okay, so right now I'm getting ready to do the next steps, and I want to show you what I have on my countertop, so you obviously it's easier if you're all prepared. Yes, my countertop is clean, spotless, okay? So what I have is I have some bread flour. I have obviously my dough, just something to get it out of the bowl with. I'm going to be putting my sesame seeds in this. I'll talk to you about that in a minute. I have one of my favorite things, which is what I call the bench scraper. Love that. I have my sesame seeds, yes. And I have my linen napkins, which I use. This is a 2-quart Dutch oven. I got them Bed Bath & Beyond, and you can buy them anywhere from $20 on sale to maximum $40. But when I started baking bread for the longest time in my oven in my house, the bottom was always burnt. So I started to experiment. I was like balling up like parchment paper on the bottom, but then I was making really weird lumps on the bottom of the bread, like shape-wise. So then I found, I had these silicone hot pads in my house, and I decided to experiment, and I cut the round circle to fit in here. And so I experimented first before I put the bread on it. It can take the heat. You'd always have to check whatever you're buying, if you're buying silicone, to make sure it can take the heat. And I've never had a burnt bottom after this, so that's something I wanted to tell you about. So again, 3 of these, I love them. Perfect little size for bread. So that's my setup. It's a real life camper, you guys. 1. So I'm sorry I didn't have this out, but it is the reality of, this is a scoop. Okay, so these are my bowls that okay, some people do like wicker bannetons. I use these. There are a couple reasons for that. I can easily clean these. I just figured like the bannetons would like eventually like cake up with flour in them and maybe get bugs. Again, the whole bug conversation, which is really weird on my part. So these are the things I have. I think I covered everything. So what I want to do is I want to do the first steps right now. I'm going to set these things aside. We're going to get our dough out, okay? Notice there's no flour, there's no water on the countertop. All right. Here you go, buddy. Who doesn't love this garbage can I have? Yay. So I'm going to bring this down onto the counter. Carefully getting it out. So happy. Such a small countertop too, you know? Narrow. Okay, so that's that. What I'm going to do next, I'm going to take and sprinkle a little flour on the top of bread flour, okay? Just a little. Look how puffy that is. Wow, exciting. I'm so easily amused. So now I'm going to divide it into thirds. Why? Because I do, stay there. Can you see this? I have 3 of these. So I don't do the giant loaves. I do 3 of these. Number one, they fit in the oven here. Plus, when I'm at home, I like the size of this loaf of bread. So I'm going to try to do my best. And yeah, I could weigh this, but I'm too lazy to pull out the weighing thing and make sure that they're perfectly the same size. It doesn't matter to me because they still turn out delicious anyway. So what I'm going to do, again, I've never done this in the van before. I'm going to separate these guys just a little bit into 3. Okay, you'll see. See what I'm going to do. So check this out. Now it's time for a little bit more stretch and fold. So this is like, this is a really good part of the lesson. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this. Watch, flipping, flip these bad boys over, okay? Move that flour out of the way. Flip the bad boys over. Cool. Now ready? Wash. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7. Look at that little shape right now. We're not done. Ready? Watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, these are so soft and fluffy. 1, 2, 3. I can tell this one's a little bit smaller. 4, 5, 6, and 7. So now, what I'm going to do, so watch this. I'm going to basically make the beginning of the round loaf. And this is where I want you to kind of watch my hands if you can. The goal here is to create tension in the top loaf. So I'm just bringing this forward, keeping the bottom kind of in the same place. I hope this is easy to look at. I'm pulling it forward, keeping the bottom still underneath. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Let's do this one now. Ready? Same thing here, pulling it forward. This one is a little bit bigger. Pulling it forward, I'm making tension. Do you see how it's popping up on the top and making tension on the top? Look at that, how pretty that is. Let's do this guy now. This one's a little bit smaller than the other ones. Tension. So I have 3 little loaves started. Do you see how like pulling forward? So the next mission, you guys, is I'm going to cover these with plastic wrap, throw a towel over them, and let them sit for about 10 minutes. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to reshape them again, adding more tension into them. Okay, so we'll do that in a few minutes, all right? So I've covered them with some plastic wrap, and I'm just going to put this little towel over it, and it says just for about 10 minutes, let them sit and rest. Then I'll come back and we'll do the next step. While I'm waiting for this to sit for 10 minutes, covered, I have 3 linen napkins that I use all the time for this, and they're stained and it doesn't matter. I like them because they have a little bit of texture, or I would say holes. Can you see like through it, like holes in it? I'm going to, while I'm waiting, I take my, again, ignore the stains, it doesn't matter. I have a mixture in here. Notice the rubber band because we're worried about bugs when we're traveling. I have half. You can use rice flour. I happen to have this laying around the house, so I have the gluten-free whatever. Half filled with that, and then half with wheat flour in here. Mix it up. So what I do is I sprinkle this around, and I do this while I'm waiting on the bread, and I'm pretty generous with it. I'm going to be honest, because I do not want this cloth sticking to my bread. It'll drive me crazy. Oh shoot, look at that! I got it on the thing there, column. So I'm going to do this to all 3, but let me show you what I do to the one right now. Come on. So check this out. I'm going to actually like push this in. I actually try to feel like I'm pushing it into the fabric, because that way it will help it not stick. So I'm going to do that. You don't have to watch. I'm going to do it to the other 2 and get those ready. Okay. So we've got 1, 2, 3 sitting here ready for me to drop the dough into it when it's time. Okay. So that's that. Stay there for a second. Next mission, my trusty bowl. Now you don't have to use sesame seeds, but I love sesame seeds on it, so this is just an optional step. So I've got that ready to go when it's time, and so that's the next thing that we're doing, and we're going to wait a few more minutes on this, and then we're going to start to shape it again. And we're taking off our plastic wrap, okay? And my trusty garbage can. So I'm going to be shaping my dough balls again. So again, I'm going to do the same thing, pulling it towards me, pulling, trying to add tension in the top of it. Really make a nice little round ball. Okay, really nice ball. Oh my gosh, this is so nice. Okay, so I feel good about this. And so my next step is to take my sesame seeds. Okay, got my round ball. I'm going to flip it upside down into the sesame seeds. I kind of keep this pinched at the top so it doesn't separate. And I'm going to roll it all around. Obviously, I don't want the sesame seeds on the bottom because they'd end up burning in the pan when you're baking it. Sesame seeds, sesame seeds, sesame seeds. Okay, that's looking good. So now, here we go. Ready? I'm going to come over here with my little guy. Ready? Check this out. It's going in there. I'm lifting this up, up, and in it goes. I fold this over, making sure I don't get any of this dry part or unfloured part on the bread because I don't want it sticking. And I just gently put this over and set it out of the way. So we're gonna do the next, and I end up putting a little weight on it. We're gonna do the next one now. Make sure I have sesame seeds on my hand. Probably add a little bit more sesame seeds. Okay, ready? Pulling it forward. Again, this is the thing that's so hard to kind of, it's like you have to feel for it, but maybe if we did an overhead, you could see like how it's, you can kind of see the bubbles from it, but again, I'm pushing my hand along it, but I'm making sure I keep the bottom underneath it. I'm not rolling it, I'm not like rolling it on itself, I'm just keep, and it's like, it actually pushes up. You can see this one's getting really tight on the top. It's almost ready to split. So this is cool. So here we go, down she goes. Not that the bread is a she, I have no idea what it is. Over here, perfect. Pinching it at the top, up, up. So I'm gonna put this in here, fold it over, get this one out of the way. So that's why I'm cleaning my hand up. Here we go, last one. There we go. Again, putting tension on the top of it. And you're gonna end up getting the feel for this, and after a couple of times, you'll feel really positive and feel like you've got it under control. Some people use the bench scraper to do this. I have no idea how they do that. I'm completely uncoordinated. I just feel I can feel the bread better this way. Oh shoot, guess what time it is? Okay, down she goes. So in she goes there. Sesame seeds part down. Okay. And sometimes, like if you want, you can like just do that along the edge if you didn't get enough sesame seeds on it, which I like to do. So I'm going to use them up. So you can do that. 2 and 3. The last one. And it goes. So normally what you can do is you can let these rise just the way they are on the countertop for 2 to 4 hours, a little bit puffier, and you can bake them if you have time. Here's my reality. I don't have time today. So the next step is, which actually I kind of like better, I've been playing around with this, you can put them in the refrigerator overnight for like 12 hours and the flavor actually gets not a lot better, but it gets better. Plus when you're ready to bake them, they hold their shape a little bit better. So I'm going to put these in the refrigerator and let them sit for overnight, and then tomorrow I'm going to get up and bake immediately, okay? All 3 loaves. So I know this is all like nonsense stuff, but I don't like them to I don't like them to get any air in them, so I just like, I know this is all lame, but it is reality. This is what I do. I just hold them down with a fork and I'm going to put them in the fridge. Okay, my little fantastic refrigerator. 2 and 3, and these guys are going to be in there, and then tomorrow I'm going to be baking, and tomorrow we'll see what they turn out like. First time in the van. Okay, I kind of lied. I thought I would wait till tomorrow to bake all the breads, but it is nighttime, and I decided earlier I'm going to try to bake one tonight, even though I'm really nervous about using the oven for the first time for the bread. So we're trying it tonight. We'll see how it goes. So this is a scoop. Your oven at home needs to be 500. This thing only goes to 450. We'll see what happens. So what we do is, I want to start right now. I've been preheating my oven. When you're home, or wherever your RV home, whatever, you want to preheat with your cast iron vessel inside. Keep the lid off of it so get the inside of the pockets equally hot, if that makes sense. So another step, notice I have this piece of parchment paper. You're going to see what I'm going to be doing with that in a moment, all right? Sometimes it's better if you have a razor blade knife, but mine are all kind of spent, and so I just have this in the van right now. We're going to take this, all right, little baby, which looks really great. Okay, check me out what I'm doing, all right? I'm going to take this and put it on the top, right? Flipping it over. All right, just going to get that out of the way. Get this out of the way. There's our bread, okay? So it's sitting on the parchment paper. Yes. You know how I mentioned doing it my new way. I like doing it overnight in the refrigerator better. I really do, because this is really soft and squishy. In the fridge, it comes out a little bit firmer. But I want to talk to you about the slice. Okay, I slice it across this way. That reason, if it's going to fall open, it'll fall to this side. So if I did it this way, it would fall off the paper. So let's see, I don't know if this knife is even sharp enough. Oh yeah, this knife is really sharp. So that's good. So you can see I'm going down about, I'm honestly going down aggressively about 1/2 of an inch, right to the edge. All right, it's already falling. See, it's so soft. This one is really soft. So now, okay, bless me on the next thing here. Okay, here we go. I'm afraid of the oven. Notice the oven gloves. I love these things. I'm gonna push this back in. Terrified, okay, because I'm not used to doing this. Sorry, here comes my butt. Okay. I'm not used to doing this. Okay, so here we go. Setting this down, closing the oven. Okay, notice, why do I have the parchment paper? Because I drop it in like this. You don't have to touch anything then. All right, now the lid's got to go right back on. Okay, live in fear. I am always afraid of burning myself when I'm making bread. Always afraid, always afraid. In here it goes. Now we're gonna put it back in the oven. I feel like I'm on a cooking show that's gone crazy. Do not burn your arms, Joan. Hold on. We're in a van. Oh shoot. Sorry about this, you guys. A little awkward. Here's my butt. Okay. Now this is going to go in for, sorry about all of that action. It's going to go in for 30 minutes, okay? So we're at 450, start. And of course I'm gonna, just because I'm in the van and I have this on a slider so that I don't have too much heat going underneath my refrigerator, etc. Plus I also have like fans that are built in back that are blowing the air out. So, whew, oh my gosh. I hope it turns out. So this is, so let's talk about this. If you're at home, you'd put it in the oven, preheated at 500. The minute you would put your bread in, like now, you would turn the thing down to 450 and you bake it for a half hour, okay? After a half hour, I'm gonna take the lid off, and you do that at home as well, and then you're gonna bake it another 15 or 20 minutes depending on how brown it looks on the top. And hopefully, even though it's 450, I'm still gonna get a decent bake out of it, because again, that high temperature of 500 is always better. But again, this is a van oven, and it doesn't go any higher than that, hotter than this. Hopefully it'll turn out. Okay, that's it. The moment of truth. It's been in for a half hour. Who knows? I'm gonna push this back in a little bit. I'm gonna open the door. I'm gonna take the lid off. Let's see what it looks like underneath it. Oh yes! Go ahead, look inside. Oh yay! Look at that, it looks so exciting. Honestly, it's a little bit, sorry about the mess, a little bit lighter than when I do it in the oven at home, but yay. So right now it's going in for another 15 minutes with the lid off, and we will see how brown it looks on top. If it's not brown, I'll add another 5 minutes onto that. But that is very exciting. Yay, yay, yay. So cute. Don't you love those breads? All right, so I'll see you in 15 minutes. Ooh. Oh, it looks nice. It's not super brown, but it certainly looks nice, doesn't it? It's a little one. So I always do this like technique where I just put a little paper towel on top. I think, honestly, I think it could go in a little bit longer. I feel like it's not making that, like, do you know that hollow sound? One of the things I want to say right now, this is a great recipe, and obviously I'm dealing with this little RV or this little oven here. Like when I open the door, it's like almost all the heat comes out of it. So it's not like a normal oven where the heat stays inside. So I think I have to be thoughtful. Maybe the first, like maybe 35 minutes on the bake before I take the lid off, and maybe a little bit longer here, because I think it's still a little bit pale. So a confession time, here we go. It came out, I honestly felt it was too light. I ended up putting it back in, you guys. I put it back in for like a good 10 minutes, just because I've got to get the lay of the land on this oven and the door opening and all that. So don't you think it looks better? Look, browner, and like, And honestly, there's more of a tap on the bottom. I don't want to burn myself because I just took it out, but it's much, look how cute that is too. So I think it's much better. Listen to the bottom. See what I'm saying? So I'm glad I did that. I was nervous, but it's an experiment. What would happen? I have 2 more loaves to go. So anyway, I think this is a success. Sorry. Now we're still gonna wait 15 minutes and then slice it. So anyway, I just wanted to see that it's darker now and better. So hopefully we'll see in the moment of truth. So here's our little baby bread. The first trial in the new oven. I'm afraid. I'm so afraid. Ooh, it sounds good. It sounds good, doesn't it, you guys? It sounds good. Let's just see what the inside is like. I think it's damn good. Look at that. I think it looks really good. I think that the open crumb they talk about. Oh my gosh, I love you. So anyway, I think that I probably should wait it because it should cool off more. But nonetheless, we are going to take a little piece. I wish you could smell it. Oh. Okay. Oh yeah, I do like butter on my bread. Let's just see how it is. Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's so good, honestly. Yum. Yum, yum, yum. It's so good because it's warm. Yay. Honestly, you guys, huge success. Camper van, sourdough. We'll see how tomorrow's turns out, but this is really delicious. Yay. So another day has passed in the bread making experience. I remember I baked the one loaf last night and it turned out pretty good. But this time I'm doing what I normally do, which is let them sit in the refrigerator overnight. So what we're going to do is we're going to see if there's a big difference on if you remember the one yesterday, it was super soft. So you can see this one's not like as floppy as the one that was sitting out. It's holds its shape a little bit more. Yeah, you can tell this is so much firmer. It's not like, so I kind of like doing them when they're out of the fridge. So that's a nice slice there. Okay. So now, getting this out of the oven. Close the oven. Trying to learn my lessons from yesterday. I was leaving the oven open way too long. Here we go. This is America. And I was losing too much of the heat out of the oven, which was stupid. So, yay. Okay, perfect. And then I'll pull this out again. So, anyway, we're gonna see what happens, but I'm excited. Let's see if this one turns out better than last night's. Because I'm at 450, I decided to go to 35 minutes instead of 30. It's time now to take the lid off. So for the second part of the bake, I'm not going to stick at 15. I'm probably going to go to 20 or 25 minutes and see how brown it goes. So we'll see what happens as it comes out. All right, here we go, loaf number 2. And we added, because it's a 450 oven, we added a little bit more time. So I'm going to take it out. Oh, it looks really nice. Why do I put the paper towel on top? Just because I don't want to have like the bread going on my glove. You know what I'm saying? My gosh, this looks so good. Oh, look at that. I think it's good. Let me just check though. You know what? Again, I think I might need to put it in a little bit longer. Just try to flip it over carefully without burning myself. I think I'm going to put it in. Honestly, I think it looks good. Like, I think it looks good, but I think I'm going to go a little bit longer. Just a little bit. Like maybe 5 more minutes. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. 2, 3. Hot. Okay. All right, we'll check back. I am so excited. Because, you know, I wasn't sure if it would even work because of the oven not being like mine at home. But seriously, you guys, look at, this is number 2 loaf of bread. Yay, put it in for the extra 5 minutes. Here's our number 3 loaf of bread. Oh my gosh, this is the first one. Hey, let's look at the difference here. Do you see how this one's a little bit, now either it's flatter because I cut it when it was warm, or maybe just that opening the oven and maybe just opening the oven and it wasn't like the right temperature. I left these in longer because it's a 450 oven. But honestly, you guys, look at these baby beauties. They're so nice. Yeah, look at that. Yay. So anyway, I'm very, very happy. And this van smells so good. It smells like fresh bread. So I hope you enjoyed this. And yes, you can bake bread in a Sprinter van.